future is approaching fast. Don't blink. Welcome to the Auto Brief News, broadcasting live from our studio in Switzerland. I'm Amber Light, your resident telemetry architect, and I'm sitting across from a man who looks like he just won the lottery.
And I'm Jim Carr. Keep the shiny side up, mate. And let me tell you, Amber, I haven't felt this vindicated since they brought back tactile volume knobs. The hot hatch is not dead. The analog soul is not dead. It is alive, it is angry, and it lives in Japan.
It's Friday, June 12th, 2026. On Fridays, we close out the week with The Studio, our deep dive into a new passion car model press release. And today, we are breaking down a vehicle that has Jim practically vibrating with excitement. On June 2nd, Toyota's Gazoo Racing division held the world premiere of the GRMN Corolla, the ultimate Nürburgring-honed evolution of their already unhinged hatchback.
I wrote a piece about this on the garage blog yesterday. The GRMN Corolla. Toyota finally went off the deep end. For the last 5 years, I've been lamenting the crossover bloat. I thought manufacturers were too busy chasing autonomous driving pods to build a proper, driver-focused weapon. But Akio Toyoda, or Morito as he calls himself when he puts his racing helmet on, took the Corolla to the Nürburgring and said, "Make it meaner."
It is a fascinating piece of engineering. From a data perspective, they haven't just added a louder exhaust and some red stitching. They have fundamentally altered the structural physics of the vehicle based on extreme endurance racing telemetry. But before we get the chassis on the lift and dissect the carbon fiber, let's cool the engine temps for a moment and hear from our partners.
This segment is fueled by echoesoftheroad.com, vintage gear design for car enthusiasts and anyone who believes true beauty has mileage. Echoesoftheroad.com is your definitive apparel store of vintage car culture.
All right, Jim, let's open up the hood of the GRMN Corolla. The powertrain is an evolution of the G16E-GTS. It's an inline 1.6-liter, 3-cylinder turbocharged engine. But the fascinating part isn't just the output, it's how they acquired the data to improve it.
Exactly. They didn't just put it on a dyno in a sterile laboratory. They've been racing a hydrogen-powered GR Corolla in the Super Taikyu endurance series in Japan. Because hydrogen burns differently and stresses the fundamental internal combustion engine components in unique ways, they learned how to reinforce the block and optimize the power delivery.
The telemetry from that hydrogen racer allowed them to push the torque output to 415 newton meters. That's a 15 newton meter increase over the base 2026 GR Corolla. And the maximum output sits at 224 kilowatts. But what I find most impressive is the torque mapping. They didn't just give it a peaky, unusable power band. They specifically focused on increasing the torque in the 3,600 to 4,800 revolutions per minute mid-speed range.
Which is exactly what you need. When you are trail braking into a tight hairpin and you need to rocket out of the apex, you don't want to be waiting for the turbo to spool at 6,000 revolutions per minute. You want that mid-range punch to hunker the car down and fire you toward the next straight. And to make sure the engine doesn't melt when you are driving at continuous full throttle, they added a sub-radiator and an intercooler spray system.
An intercooler spray system? That is old-school rally technology.
It is pure, unadulterated Group A rally homologation madness. You press a button and it mists water directly onto the intercooler to drop the intake temperature. It's brilliant. And they pair that engine with a close ratio 6-speed intelligent manual transmission, the IMT. 3 pedals, a stick shift, and 415 newton meters of torque, being routed through their GR4 active torque split 4-wheel drive system.
They exclusively tuned the 4WD control for this GRMN variant. The algorithms manage the rear torque distribution to enhance stability at the onset of steering input at extremely high speeds. But Jim, let's talk about my favorite metric in the entire press release, the mass optimization.
Oh, I know you love a diet, Amber. Tell them what Toyota did.
They deleted the rear seats entirely.
They threw them in the bin. I love it.
It's an incredibly aggressive decision for a production hatchback. By removing the rear seats, utilizing a bespoke glass fiber reinforced polymer for the custom full bucket seats, and adding carbon fiber components, they slashed 30 kilograms pounds off the curb weight. The GRMN Corolla weighs in at 1,450 kilograms. In an era where family crossovers weigh 2.5 tons, improving the power-to-weight ratio by physically removing seating capacity is a stunning commitment to track performance.
It's a massive middle finger to practicality, and I am entirely here for it. Where those rear seats used to be, there is now an exclusive cast-iron black strut brace bolted across the chassis to stiffen the rear end. Which brings us to the structural rigidity.
The data here is staggering. For the 2026 base GR Corolla, they had already increased the application of structural adhesive. But for this GRMN model, they extended the structural adhesive by another 13.9 meters. There is now a total of 32.7 meters of aerospace-grade glue holding this chassis together, reinforcing the body structure to handle the extreme lateral G-forces.
And you need that stiffness because of what they did to the suspension. They took this car to the Nürburgring Nordschleife, the green hell. It is 13 miles of the most punishing tarmac on Earth. The Nürburgring isn't just flat corners. It has massive elevation changes, jumps like the Flugplatz, and compressions that will tear the oil pan off a normal car.
The vertical suspension travel experience there is beyond any typical racing circuit. To counteract this, Toyota engineered exclusive monotube shock absorbers. They use inverted monotubes on the front and uprights on the rear, both equipped with internal rebound springs.
And they adjusted the shock absorber stroke down to a single millimeter. 1 millimeter. That is the kind of obsessive suspension geometry you usually only see on Le Mans prototypes. It keeps the inner wheels pulled down to the tarmac during high-speed cornering. And they wrapped the 18-inch forged matte bronze wheels in 245/40Z R18 Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires. Those are 10 millimeters wider than the base car, and they are essentially street-legal track slicks.
The aerodynamic profile is equally uncompromising. Every vent and wing serves a mathematical purpose. They applied exclusively developed aero parts based directly on their Super Taikyu experience. You have a carbon fiber engine hood with a massive extraction duct, carbon fiber front fenders with pressure relief ducts, and carbon fiber front side spoilers.
But the pièce de résistance is the carbon fiber rear wing. It isn't just bolted on for Instagram photos. It has a 5-step adjustment mechanism. You can literally dial in your aerodynamic downforce in 1-degree increments. Toyota had their professional drivers testing different wing angles at the Nürburgring just to find the optimal specifications for high-speed stability.
And the interior reflects that exact same ethos. It is a workspace. The custom-designed full bucket seats were developed by putting them in the Super Taikyu race cars and having professional drivers evaluate them while wearing helmets. They adjusted the seat length specifically to facilitate aggressive clutch operation.
And look at the dashboard. It's flocked. For those who don't know, flocking is when you apply a suede-like material over the entire instrument panel. Rally cars do it so that when you are driving directly into the sun over a crest, you don't get any blinding glare reflecting off the plastic dashboard into your eyes. It is pure motorsport utility. You even get Master Driver Morizo's signature on the instrument panel padding, and an exclusive GRMN serial number plate.
It is, without question, a masterclass in focused engineering. But Jim, there is a catch. And it's a catch that involves your least favorite piece of technology.
Don't ruin this for me, Amber. What is it?
The purchasing process. The GRMN Corolla is going to be available in highly limited quantities, primarily in Japan, North America, and Australia. But in Japan, to even negotiate buying one, you have to apply via the GR app smartphone application starting in autumn of 2026.
A smartphone app. I knew it. I knew the corporate tech bros couldn't just let us walk into a dealership with a checkbook. I have to download a piece of software, make an account, and enter a digital lottery just to beg Toyota for the privilege of buying a manual hatchback.
It's an efficient way to manage limited supply and prevent dealership markups, Jim. It democratizes the allocation process. And there is one more piece of news. Toyota announced that alongside the 2-seater manual GRMN Corolla, they are currently developing a 5-seater concept called the Morizo RR. It will feature the Gazoo Racing direct automatic transmission. an 8-speed automatic geared for track use.
A 5-seater with an automatic. Well, that's for the people who want to look like they go to the Nürburgring, but actually just sit in traffic on the M25. The 2-seater manual is the real deal.
Let's calibrate the global frequency and check in with our community. It's time for our weekly poll.
Right. What absurd scenario have we cooked up for the mascot this week?
Every week on our Instagram feeds, represented by our helmet mascot, we pose a highly specific scenario. This week, you are strapped into the GFRP bucket seat of the GRMN Corolla. The intercooler spray has just hissed. You are approaching the carousel corner at the Nürburgring. The Michelin Cup 2 tires are screaming for mercy, and the G16E-GTS 3-cylinder is howling at 6,500 revolutions per minute. What 1970s cassette tape is blasting from the stripped-out cabin?
You are in a lightweight, high-strung, violent machine on the most dangerous track in the world. You need a soundtrack with relentless driving aggression. I am putting in Motorhead's Overkill. It's fast, it's loud. It has absolutely no refined manners whatsoever, and the double kick drum perfectly matches the pulse of a highly stressed, turbocharged engine bouncing off the rev limiter.
That is suitably chaotic, Jim. However, I view driving the Nürburgring as an exercise in high-speed mathematics and precise rhythm. I'm selecting Kraftwerk's The Man Machine. It's clinical, it's precise, and it perfectly encapsulates the idea of car-driver unity. You are fusing with the technology to create a perfect lap time. Cast your vote in the comments of the post.
Kraftwerk again. You are going to put the viewers into a robotic trance. You don't do math on the Nürburgring, Amber. You survive it.
We will let the audience decide. Let's bring it to the finish line. The checkered flag verdict. Green light, amber light, or red light. Jim, you wrote the article. You go first. The Toyota GRMN Corolla.
I have never given a car a green light faster than this. Toyota ignored every single boring industry trend. They ignored the EV push, they ignored the crossover craze, and they built a homologation special for the sheer joy of driving. A manual gearbox, no rear seats, 32 meters of structural glue. It is an unhinged, beautiful masterpiece of mechanical sympathy. It is a massive, glowing green light.
I have to agree. For me, it is also a green light. While I am deeply invested in the digital 800-volt architectures of tomorrow, I possess immense respect for the scientific pursuit of dynamic physics. Toyota utilized real-world telemetry from endurance racing to optimize aerodynamic load and structural rigidity down to the millimeter. It is a highly analytical approach to creating raw emotion.
2 green lights. The world must be ending.
Enjoy the agreement while it lasts, Jim. That wraps up this episode of The Studio. You can read Jim's full blog post, The GRMN Corolla, Toyota Finally Went Off the Deep End, and explore the full Nürburgring spec sheets in our garage archive at theautobrief.news.
And don't forget to subscribe to our Friday newsletter, The Telegram. I'll be writing this week's edition from the barn, probably staring lovingly at a photo of that carbon fiber rear wing.
I will make sure to digitize his typewriter pages before they get covered in motor oil. I'm Amber Light. The future is approaching fast, don't blink.
And I'm Jim Carner. Keep the shiny side up.